Guys. So for social studies today, we're going to do something a little different. I thought about making this personal skills, but we already had a plan for personal skills, so this is social studies. So we're going to learn about the radical history of self-care. And I want to point you all to an article from Teen Vogue with that same title, which is where I got a lot of this information. So I'll include the link if you want to read it all. It is definitely written for adults, but I think you guys could still learn some interesting things from it. So I'm sure many of you have heard the phrase self-care. And sometimes people use the phrase self-care for kind of silly things like buying yourself a new pair of pants that you really want, or drinking a smoothie, just kind of silly random things that make you feel happy. And that's not wrong, but it's kind of a very small part of what self-care actually means. So self-care means eating healthy food, getting enough sleep, taking a break when you need it, going to a doctor when you're sick. And as we know, sometimes that's easier to say than it is to do. Those things can be hard to access, and we all know that where you live can affect whether you can get those things. How much money you have can affect whether you can get those things, right? Like if you don't live near a grocery store, it's hard to eat healthy food if you're just having to get food from a corner store. Or if you have to work a really late job, you're probably not getting enough sleep. Or maybe your job doesn't let you take a break when you need it, right? And again, that's about what kind of job you have, where you can get work, all that kind of stuff. So the kind of fancy grown-up word for that is privilege. A lot of these things, unfortunately, are a privilege, even though I think most of us would agree it should be a right, something that everybody should be able to have. And the other one we know that can be a privilege is going to the doctor when you're sick. So if you guys listen to the news at all, if you listen to, or if you watch it on TV or on the computer, you might notice that there's a big debate going on right now about whether everybody should be able to get these things. And so I want to take a second to think about all of the things that our school has. And these are things that schools where I grew up still do not have. And the reason that these schools have them is that there's a lot of organizations here in Oakland and in San Francisco that have been fighting for years to help schools get this stuff. So starting all the way in Oakland with the Black Panthers, in the 60s and up to today with Mission graduates in the Mission of San Francisco, they've made it so that we have breakfast, lunch, and snack at school. They've made sure that kids can have a safe and fun place to be after school. We have a nurse at our school. We have dental and vision care, so they come and check our teeth and our eyes and help us get care if we need like glasses or something. And we get school supplies at school, right? When I was a kid, and it's still this way where I grew up, you have to bring your own pencils, you have to bring your own paper, and if you didn't bring your own pencils, you better hope somebody will give you one or you're not going to be able to do any work in class. So all of these things that we have at our school that help us have self-care, that help us be healthy and learn and grow, are things that all of these radical movements, and especially all of these Black and Latino organizations, have organized to help make it happen. So you guys might have, if you've ever been on an airplane, you've probably heard the person say that you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before helping anyone else. And of course, the reason is that if you pass out from no oxygen, if there's like a plane problem, you can't help anybody else, right? Whereas if you put your own mask on, then you'll be able to breathe, and then you can help other people breathe. And it's the same thing with self-care. I know many of you guys want to help other people, whether that's your family, whether that's stray animals, whether that's other people in the world that you want to take care of. And the first step to that is taking care of yourself. So I wanted to share one of my favorite quotes with you guys and see what you think about it. Because a lot of people have different understandings or different opinions about this quote. So it says, caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. So, big words. So self-indulgence is like being greedy or being lazy. But self-preservation is keeping yourself alive and healthy. So if we read this again, it says caring for myself is not being greedy or lazy. It's keeping myself alive and healthy. And that is an act of political warfare. So the question you're going to answer today is, what does this quote mean? What is she talking about? And there's no right or wrong answer. It's kind of your opinion and how you understand it. So what do you think Audre Lorde, who's a very famous activist and a very famous writer, what do you think she's trying to tell us about self-care? I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Let's get started.